How is it going, everybody? You're watching Then About Tech, and today I'm gonna explain you why you shouldn't buy the new iPhone 12 Pro. And in order to explain you this in all the detail, of course, I have here with me the iPhone 12 Pro and also the iPhone 12. And of course, I'm gonna be comparing those two guys because this is the huge debate. iPhone 12 Pro versus iPhone 12. And of course, I'm also gonna talk about the 12 Pro Max as well. This is all gonna make sense at the end, okay? And of course, I've been using and testing both these phones for quite a while, so everything I'm saying here, I'm gonna say based on data, based on information and numbers, and also from my own experience, okay? So, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, so first things first, since I'm going to be comparing the iPhone 12 Pro to the iPhone 12, let's talk about pricing because this is going to be super relevant. So the iPhone 12 Pro starts at $999, so that's $1,000, whereas the iPhone 12 starts at $799, so that's $800. So there's a $200 difference between those two devices. So please keep that number in mind because when we're going to be like going through numbers and everything like that, keep that there's a $200 gap, and if it makes sense to you, because to me it just doesn't make sense to pay those $200 extra. Now let's talk about their similarities, because both these phones are actually quite similar. Most people have no idea what they share and how much they share, and they actually share quite a lot hardware wise and of course performance and everything like that. They're very similar phones. They're more similar than probably you think. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about display. And this was a huge deal when we were doing that very same comparison last year, when we were comparing the iPhone 11 to the 11 Pro, because the display on the iPhone 11 was so inferior. It was LED, it wasn't OLED, the quality was bad, the bezels were large. That's not the case anymore. It's actually quite the opposite. Both the displays are OLED, so even the entry-level iPhone 12, not the Pro, has an OLED display. They also have the same display size, so both of them have a 6.1-inch display, so it's the exact same size, and actually both phones are pretty much the same size. If you see them side by side, they're pretty much the same size. Not only the display, but the size of the whole thing. Okay, so they're very, very similar in size. And of course, the resolution is also the same. So it's a 2532 by 1170 pixel resolution and the same PPI at 460. They also both have HDR, True Tone, P3 white color, and haptic touch, so they have the same technology. When you press and hold, the little vibration you get on the screen, both of them have that. And it's not only the display that's the same pretty much. They also have the same processor, the A14 Bionic. Both of them have the same 5G, so the sub 6 gigahertz 5G, and of course in the US you get the millimeter wave on both as well. We also have the same main two cameras, so the wide and the ultra wide are exactly the same on both devices. We also have Face ID on both. Battery life, it's the exact same. We have the new ceramic shield, which is the new glass, which is the glass in front of the display. On both devices, they are both the exact same. So ceramic shield on both, which is very, very resistant to shattering and scratching and everything like that. Water resistance is the same, compatibility with MagSafe, and also, of course, the storage. Both of them can go up to 256, and the 12 Pro can go up a little bit more. I'm going to be talking about that in a second. So on its own, if you get the spec sheet on both, you can already see that they're very, very similar where it matters. So display, battery, and of course the processor, so in 5G, which is a big deal now. So just those things being the exact same already proves a point that they're very, very similar. But of course, they have some differences. Let's discuss the differences now. Going back to the display, I said they're pretty much the same because both displays are pretty much the same, but there's only one slight difference. The iPhone 12 Pro actually has a maximum brightness of 800 nits. Nits is the unit we use to measure brightness on displays and things like that. Whereas the iPhone 12 has a 625 nits of maximum brightness. You may think, okay, it's 175 more. It should mean it's a big number if you compare it proportionally. But honestly, you can't really tell a big difference. On day-to-day use, you just can't tell. Only if you are in a very extreme situation of very, very bright daylight, and then you can see that the 12 Pro gets a little bit brighter and you can see a little bit better the screen itself in a little bit more detail. But again, only at extreme conditions. Also, let's talk about the finish. So the iPhone 12 Pro, just like the 11 Pro, has a slightly more premium finish. Okay, and that's stainless steel, whereas the iPhone 12 has an aluminum finish. And I'm talking about the finish, I'm talking about the metal part, the metal rim that goes all the way around those devices. Okay, and of course, front is glass, back is glass, just that a metal ring that goes around it is actually made of metal, and that metal on the 12 is aluminum, on the 12 Pro is stainless steel. Honestly, in my opinion, I'm gonna be super honest here, I really like stainless steel. Okay, I do like stainless steel. And you may think, okay, Daniel, so you like stainless steel and you're saying don't buy a 12 Pro. Wait, there's more to come, okay? And I like stainless steel, but I know a lot of people don't. I see a ton of people that prefer aluminum because the aluminum finish is actually matte, so it doesn't it's not so shiny. So, and it is not so bright and shiny and flashy as the 12 Pro, as stainless steel, which is shiny and it's flashy and it's like colorful because it bounces so much light out of it. A lot of people don't like it. Just this is a personal preference. Of course, there's something about rigidity of the phone and how tough the phone can be because of those metals, but that doesn't make a big difference in day-to-day use. What it is pretty much an aesthetic thing. So if you like it, good. If you don't, like I know a lot of people, maybe it's not worth paying more to get something you don't like. Now let's talk about cameras again. So I just mentioned a few minutes ago that both cameras are the same, and they are. So the wide and the ultra wide on the iPhone 12 are the exact same cameras that we have on the 12 Pro. So wide and ultra wide, but the 12 Pro has an extra camera, which is a telephoto camera, is a zoom camera. So following the same trend from the 11 Pro, which had that extra camera, the 12 Pro also has it. So it has an extra camera for zoom. And even though this is cool, of course, but the thing is, of course, you can still take zoom photos with the iPhone 12. You can still zoom in, pinch to zoom. You can still use that wheel and zoom in. And of course, you can take photos with zoom using your iPhone 12. The only difference is on the 12 Pro, you're going to get more quality. You're going to get a better zoom because you're going to have a dedicated camera to focus on objects and subjects using the optics. So it's going to be zoom without losing so much quality. Even though you're going to lose because the telephoto camera, the telephoto sensor is not as good as the main one. But anyways, like you have an extra camera there for this, which most people won't really notice because they're going to zoom in normally with their iPhone 12. We also have a slight difference in storage. So the iPhone 12 has a base storage. So the base model is going to come with 64 gigs of storage, and the 12 Pro is going to come with 128. So you're going to get more storage out of the box on the base level on both devices. Again, we got to see if that's relevant to you, because I know that a lot of people just live normally with 64 gigs and use iCloud or Google Photos or other cloud services to store their photos and data and things like that. I personally have been using 64 gigs phones for ages. Even my 11 Pro Max right here is a 64 gig phone. So for most people, it is not so necessary if you know how to manage your data, your files, your storage using the cloud. Okay, but again, of course, you can upgrade to 128 if you have an iPhone 12. You're just gonna need to pay a little bit more. So keep that in mind. So if you upgrade, of course, that gap of $200 is going to get smaller. So keep that in mind. And here, at this point, is pretty much where the differences stop when you're talking about most users, for most people, for the majority of iPhone buyers. And you may ask, okay, there are more differences regarding the camera, regarding the LiDAR sensor. Yeah, I'm going to talk about those. But again, for most users, for pretty much everybody who's buying iPhones, Those are the biggest differences, because the other differences that I'm going to talk about right now, and I'm going to explain all of those as well, those differences are not so relevant. They're pretty much for pro users, for creators, for video makers, for niche markets, for some specific kind of buyers, not for everybody. So let's talk about those pro differences right now, starting with Dolby Vision HDR. So the iPhone 12, okay, is capable of recording Dolby Vision HDR videos at 30 frames per second, whereas the 12 Pro capable of recording the same Dolby Vision HDR videos at 60 frames per second. So you have a slightly different frame rate here on both of these phones. Most iPhone users don't even know what Dolby Vision HDR is, to be honest. And it's just like an imaging technology capable of giving you better quality in your videos. So better colors, contrast, brightness, and overall better image. But again, it's very, very pro feature. And also the iPhone 12, the base iPhone 12, the normal one, has that feature. It is just not the same frame rate. So the average user won't notice the difference. I guarantee you that. Now let's talk about Apple Pro RAW. And that's even more technical, more pro, and more specific to some users, especially photographers. So Apple Pro RAW is a specific format that only the iPhone 12 Pro and the iPhone 12 Pro Max have, that actually will enable you to get files, raw files that are going to be bigger, in more detail, and better to work with. So if you take a photo with your iPhone 12 Pro and you throw it at Photoshop, you're going to be able to work with it much better than if you take with your normal iPhone 12. Again, very specific. And of course, we have the LiDAR scanner, which is a sensor, and that sensor is an exclusive piece of hardware that is only available on the iPhone 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Max. You don't have that hardware, that sensor on the iPhone 12, okay, only on the Pro models, and it will actually allow you to do a few things, but mostly it will enhance, improve the AR experience on the iPhone. Of course, you can also experience AR on your iPhone 12 or even on your old iPhone 11 or iPhone 10, because you can do that with normal cameras. You don't need the LiDAR scanner. You can use it with any camera, and of course the neural engine, which will do all the crazy things to actually make it work. So we're just going to improve that experience. So again, very specific. Most people don't use AR. It's pretty much a gimmick today. And of course, improve some things like autofocus in low light conditions. So very pro, very specific for photographers, and also enable nighttime portraits. This is kind of useful, but again, I mostly see people doing that for dramatic use, taking those dramatic shots at night. I don't see people normally taking photos at night at portrait mode, just like people don't do those portrait selfies with a black background. It's just so dramatic, so I don't see people really using it. And last but not least, we have the RAM memory. On the iPhone 12 we have 4 gigs of RAM, and on the iPhone 12 Pro we have 6 gigs of RAM. So if after hearing all of that, looking at all of that, and hearing what I had to say, you're with me and you're thinking, okay, the 12 is good for me. I don't need the 12 Pro. I'm the average user. I don't need those pro features. It doesn't make any difference to me. Okay, awesome. So then just go ahead and buy an iPhone 12. So you're gonna save $200. You can buy a pair of AirPods, or you can buy a brand new Apple Watch. So with those $200, you can get an awesome phone, and even all other Apple accessories or hardware with the same $1,000. If you disagree with me and you think, whoa, wait a moment, actually those pro features are pretty cool, because I get better cameras, better storage, better RAM, and I like stainless steel, and I like taking photos. I want to get the best quality possible. Okay, no problem. Get the 12 Pro Max. The whole thing of this video is not saying that the iPhone 12 Pro, the Pro series, is bad. No, the Pro series is awesome. The 12 Pro is not worth it. When we're talking about cost benefit, we're talking about how much we get from the money we spend. And when we're doing that relation, the iPhone 12 Pro just doesn't add up, because with $100 more, again, $100 more, you're going to get, of course, the same you're getting with the 12 Pro, everything I just mentioned here, and much, much more. You're going to get a larger display. You're going to get better battery because with a bigger phone, you get a bigger battery. So you're going to get more battery life. And also, you're going to get a much better camera. You have some awesome improvements on the 12 Pro Max. So we're going to have a wider optical zoom range. So it's going to zoom in more. We're going to have a sensor shift optical image stabilization. So photos and videos are going to be optically stabilizing, not the lens itself, but the sensor, and this enables a ton of awesome things. And of course, the telephoto lens has a larger aperture, so it has a better quality, it lets more light in, it's going to be much, much better. So you're going to get those same Pro features, everything you love about the Pro, with a better camera system, with just $100 more. So if you're thinking about getting a Pro, get a 12 Pro Max. If you're thinking about getting an iPhone 12, which has pretty much what you need, get an iPhone 12, a normal iPhone 12. The 12 Pro doesn't make any sense. Don't buy the iPhone 12 Pro. The iPhone 12 Pro is just not a good phone for the money. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed this video. Full analysis, my full review on this topic, on the iPhone 12 Pro topic, more specifically versus the iPhone 12, the normal iPhone 12, and of course, talking a little bit about the 12 Pro Max as well, just proving this point that you shouldn't get the 12 Pro. Okay, so that's pretty much it. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the like button down below, subscribe button, and the little bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. And also, hit the comment down below. Let me know if you agree with me, if you don't agree with me. What are your thoughts about this? I always love hearing your feedback, and I'm always there replying to your comments. I love this. Okay, so that's pretty much it, and I'll be back in a few days. Bye-bye.